Welcome to St Nectan's Glen. Well, I'm not quite there yet, but I'm nearly there. And it's been a very, very strange day for me because I was only meant to be here seeing 3 or 4 days. But last night I had a leak in the van and it was coming through the back door. I was like, what do I do? So I've had to book an appointment in Devon for the mechanics to have a look at where this leak's coming from because I can't find out at all. I've checked all the seals and everything like that. And so it's pushed me to quickly come to this area, to Tintagel and then Boscastle, and then make my way down to Devon. So these 2 stops will be the last in Cornwall, the last episode of my Cornwall Sacred Water trip. So I hope you enjoyed this final episode here in Cornwall. So this is St Piran's Well. Okay, so this is at the start of the walk. We've got actually standing stone here to the left. So this is the walk to St Nectan's Glen and it's right at the start. So it's actually completely dry inside, but we've got all this water coming from this area here. So maybe there's another source. Even though I've been here before a few years ago, I wanted to come back again because I didn't actually make it to the waterfall, to the circular famous waterfall here at St Nectan's Glen. And there's so many people that say just how enchanted this place is, that it's literally possessed by amazing beings, you know, this whole place, the Fey Kingdom. So I've always wanted to come back and by myself as well to truly appreciate the place. Got this sea on my right here because this place is just in between Tintagel and Boscastle, and tomorrow I'm actually heading up to Boscastle to see some springs and to meet a lady who is very connected to the springs there at Boscastle. So already bringing back memories from last time with these amazing ferns, these moss covered trees and the power of the water that goes all the way through the glen. Wow. I don't want to do too much filming as well because I want to spend a lot of time just communicating with the beings, the spirits that inhabit these places, the nature spirits. But I also want to show you this amazing place in the world. So I'll do a little bit, but not overly much. It has a very similar energy to a place called Fairy Glen in Lancashire. So if you scroll way down through my videos, I think it was maybe last year or 2 years ago, I did a video at Fairy Glen, and I think it's a smaller version really. I forgot how big this place was. It might be really big, but because I didn't go to the end last time. But it's already, there's so many similarities, and they're both, you know, got Glen in the name. So one's Fairy Glen and one's St Nectan's Glen, and they're both got the qualities of the Fae, if you know what I mean, the nature spirits. They're very prevalent here. And talk about similarities, this is the same at Fairy Glen as well. These are everywhere with money, the 2p pieces all stuck inside the tree trunk. Wow, we've got some signs as well now, so which way do we go? We'll go to St Nectan's Glen to the left. Well, I think that's where we follow, yeah. Let's have a look. St Piran's Well, that's where we've come from. And Helgabron. I think he's ringing a bell now. This is where we took a few years ago with the family. We then went back through some fields that way, back to where we were staying. Right, that's making sense now. So we'll follow the footpath to St Nectan's Glen. Look at that figure there. It's amazing by the ferns and the water. Guardian of the place. Wow, look at this for a little cute well. So they've got some little figures, little robin. Also just hopped away from the spring just before I started filming. Got a little crystal on top. It's just trickling from underneath there. Incredible. Look at this little green man. Well, not so little, it's actually quite big, but the green man is a very important symbol for nature spirits, especially when it comes to spring and summer. The green man is what the people used to worship. The green man is the coming back of the greenery and the nature back in the spring and summer, but then in the winter it is more going inward. always say that water is the most powerful force in existence. And when I turn the camera around and show you this waterfall, I mean, you'll see what I mean. You know, the element of water, the power it can bring to spiritual enlighten someone as well, just by being with water. By the sea, you know, people just spend hours by the sea just contemplating, or they go to a river, you go to a lake to be still. You go to all these different sorts of water, lakes, rivers, seas, waterfalls, and they all bring a different perspective on life. And so, for example, this waterfall is giving power, it's giving energy. But you go to a nice still lake, you get contemplation and peace. So water has it all. Our fast-paced society, you know, we've gone out of touch, out of rhythm with the cycle of nature. Like the trees, for example, it's autumn now, near enough, and the trees, look at all these leaves still on the trees. But in a couple of weeks, in a month's time, they'll be falling, and we don't see it happening. It's happening in slow motion. If we put a time lapse on it, you'll see them start to decay, start to fall bit by bit. We take the time, we work with the seasons, with the cycles. Everything in our life should be worked in cycles. We slow down in the winter, we speed up in the summer. We can get away with a faster pace of life in the summer. We can't get away with it in the winter. That's when colds come on. That's when illnesses form. Trust me on that one. It's a magical place to be once you're in tune with the natural rhythms of the moon, of the sun, the country that you're in, and connect barefoot with the earth. Slow down. You don't always have to be somewhere, you don't always have to be doing something all the time. We're human beings, not human doings. Contemplate life. We've neglected truth, we've neglected ancient wisdom because we've been too preoccupied with the system. That's what it's designed to do. It's designed to distract you. It's designed to distract you because by the time you've woken up, you're already too old. You're already too old. Life's already behind you. You've already been fed the drugs, been fed the news, been fed the nonsense, been fed the lies, the distractions. It's time to wake up now. It's time to start living. It's time to start rebuilding. Feel the aliveness coursing through your veins, just like it's coursing through this waterfall. Trust me, it's time to wake up now. It's time to see the deceptions for what they are. All the corporations, all the deceptions that you've created yourself, because at some level we've created the corporations. Humans are responsible for their own actions, and we have to be responsible for the rebuilding of our own lives and for nature. So, how can there ever be a water shortage with all these waterfalls, all the springs, all the wells, all the rivers in the world, all the oases in the deserts? Yet the controllers play on our emotions as they always do, and then we fall for the traps because we always want to be safe in our own little bubbles, that we're not even acknowledging the facts, okay, that water never runs out. It's a primary water source, okay? If we learn to live in balance with nature, once more, the waters will flow even greater on the surface, but underneath the earth, they are never running out. The primary waters are always constantly being created. So when you have these adverts on, or UNICEF and all that crap, putting your attention that they have to, you know, that we have to be sending, and then all sending all these medicines abroad, all these big corporations saying, oh, they need the jabs and they don't need all these medicines because they can't get pure water. Why not, instead of sending the medicines across, start bottling some water up from these waterfalls and sending it on the planes? It's so stupid. People can be so dumb. Wake up. They've got you on a string like a puppet by playing on your emotions. Just look at the truth in front of your eyes and don't be led astray. It's not to say that the rivers can't run dry, because that's because we have destroyed the trees, we've destroyed nature, we've built on water sources instead of nurturing the water sources. The surface level waters, the rivers, they can be properly destroyed and poisoned. But what I'm saying is that underneath the earth, the primary water that's constantly renewed, that never runs out. But we have to renew the water cycle and it's not the mainstream water cycle I'm talking about. It's quite complicated, the primary water, in the sense that primary water that's constantly being renewed, that's coming from the earth, is a different type of water that is falling from the sky, but it's also connected at the same time. So it's a bit difficult to describe, but we have been affecting the water table above the earth, but below the earth it's constantly being renewed. That's never reached our surface level before in its life. That's like being thousands and thousands of years going through the rock and crystal layers. But because of what we're doing to the surface above, then we are affecting the waters currently running on our earth, and that is affecting everything in nature. If that makes sense, I'm trying to explain it to the best of my ability what I feel is happening in terms of water. That is what I feel. We need to make sure we heal the surface level waters, but also acknowledge that the water underneath the earth, the primary waters, they don't run out, and we need to tap into that source and not use it for our own gain, but use it as the sacred water it is. Yes, to drink, but also to acknowledge its spiritual qualities. Primary water is what is used in the ancient springs of most of the ancient wells that I've been visiting on my trips. Some of them are from the rains, which go up and down depending on seasonal water and how much it rains. But the true ancient springs, they have never stopped running since recorded in prehistory, from the peoples way before the Celtic times, and they're not going to stop running now. They're always a constant temperature, and they never fluctuate depending on how much it rains. So that is what a true primary water spring is, and how to decipher between a true primary water spring and simply runoff. But they're both just as important as the other. It's not to say one's more important than the other. We have to look after and nurture them both, but we've affected the waters above more than we've affected the waters below. But we're still affecting the waters below on a spiritual level, because all the water is connected, it holds memory. But we have to tap into both, and we have to nurture them both. And this is complicated if you're looking at my videos for the first time. But sit with yourself and try and contemplate what I've got to say, because it's so important. The only way to awaken the world and to rebuild the world is to rebuild and put awareness on water. This is a great symbol to use for what I'm talking about. This symbol here, the tree of life. So if you can see here, this is the waters below that we can't see, the underground rivers, the ancient springs that haven't been touched by man-made layer. They then come out in springs, and above we've got the normal rivers we can see, the rain and all of that, but yet they are connected to each other in a spiritual kind of communion. So that is a kind of explaining what I'm talking about with the waters. This is why it's called the waters below and the waters above. In the ancient world, they always used to say the waters, not water, the waters with an S at the end. I said in the other video in part 3, Cornwall just has this true old world, pre-Christian, pre anything, old world, original Albion feel. And here in St Nectan's Glen, it's got that feel more than any place that I've ever been to in my life. You know, the symbols, the feeling, the waters, people understand that, they understand that. The people that make pilgrimages to places like St Nectan's Glen. It's incredible. I love that script before, that little passage somebody wrote. It said, "May the magic of this earth flow through me from this day until my last." Amazing. Amazing beech trees as well here. That's what I've been planting in Penwitham, trying to replant the ancient forest there. And one day they'll look like these for the next generations. So important. It's vital, the work we do now, this generation. Wow, look at this, I've just spotted as well. Well, we're going to go and see it a bit closer in a second. It's like another green man carved onto an old trunk. He's even got his third eye as well. Someone's even acknowledged that the third eye does exist and they've put it on this green man. Well, it's October the 14th and there's not one yellow leaf on this beach. Everything's still pure green like summer. What has this tree seen? I need to ask the questions to the trees. They're sentient beings more than anything. They're connected to the earth more than anyone. Like, look at this. Imagine you probably would have seen St Nectan himself walk through these woods. About, what, 800,000 years old? Maybe more, this tree. What a beech tree this is. Amazing. Mind blowing. Love the way at this place everything's just left. Like this tree, for example, like you have to crawl under it on the main path. They could easily chop it, but I've got a feeling they see things as sacred and they want to keep things intact, and that's how it should be. If you've got something in the way, a tree, an ancient tree, just work your way around it. It's sacred. Just go around it or just leave it alone. We don't have to keep interfering all the time. Because look where it's got us as a human race. Just leave things alone, they are sacred. These tree facts, it talks about the trees can communicate with one another and share nutrients using a fungal underground network nicknamed the Wood Wide Web. Now, if you look on my videos in the past at Nottinghamshire, where I went to Sherwood Forest, I talk in depth about the fungus network that interlinks every tree so they can communicate, so they can thrive, they communicate all sorts of different things to each other, even to different species of trees. They're communicating with us and we're constantly communicating with the fungus network, especially when we go barefoot in the earth, because the fungus network literally binds everything together and is most prevalent in the ancient woodlands. This is why we need to preserve the ancient woodlands. In the description below in this video I will try and link the Nottinghamshire Sherwood Forest video. If I can't do that, because sometimes you can't link it very well, sometimes I find it difficult to do that, you can just scroll through my videos. About this time last year, about August time, I did the video around Sherwood Forest. That was a good video. I was talking about all the different, how important the fungus network is and the ancient trees. A load of people have been seeing a decline in insects, especially butterflies. I've noticed that the last couple of years, and it's because of the glyphosate, the pesticides and everything that's being pumped into the air on their plants. It's killing them, and the destruction of their habitats, the wildlife, the trees, the flowers, everything like that. So yeah, we just got to look after the wildlife that we have, keep planting all the time, and stop using any form of glyphosate. And we do this by stop buying produce that is using these products. We can phase out all the big corporations overnight. Literally, they can go bankrupt overnight. They're that fragile, these corporations. It's because of us. We keep buying the products there's no reason for them to stop using these chemicals. It's up to us. It's up to us what world we want to see. This is what we need to be doing. Getting fields, bare fields, and replanting them as they were. Let's do this. Let's just put action into it. It's simple. Just imagine if we all came together to just start planting trees, all of us. Like even a community, even an avenue of people just starting to plant trees. Like I've been planting loads. I must have planted hundreds just this year myself. Imagine if we all came together to start doing this. Imagine what we could do for the next generations and for ourselves. Nice little structure outside the cafe, a space for peace, where they've done like the ceiling corresponding to all the different chakras of the body. I have never seen one of these in my life. I just saw that they had them at St Nectan's Glen on that on the list of birds, and here we have one by the stream. Incredible. So I've had an amazing time here at St Nectan's Glen. I hope you've enjoyed this at St Nectan's Glen as well. If you want to pay a visit, it's well worth it. It is £9 to see the waterfall though, but to be honest, they do a very good job at keeping the place looking really nice, and they've got all these nice features, you know, in the place, especially as you get further up near the cafe. So yeah, tomorrow I'm going to head towards Boscastle and carry on this video and see what sacred springs I can find and what amazing things I can experience there in Boscastle. So right now I am in the village of Boscastle, and already I absolutely am in love with the place. Like, it's just a small little village with a nice stream running straight through it. It reminds me a bit of the Lake District, but it also obviously is close to the sea. Like, look at the character of this place. What an amazing place. And the woman I'm going to meet actually lives here. It's an amazing, amazing place, honestly. Boscastle, a small place in Cornwall, but if you're in the area, you've got to visit Boscastle. So I thought I'd buy a homemade pasty for lunch, right? So that was great. But I also bought a fresh loaf of bread, which I thought was fresh because it was in like a fresh baker's. But looking at the ingredients, this is going to have to go straight in the bin. I'm afraid £3 has to go in the bin here. This is ridiculous. Like, talk about E numbers. It's got E1100, E472E, E516, E300, E260, E25, E25, E471, E472E and E471. That is the most E numbers I've ever seen in my entire life. That cannot be edible. How can you call that bread? Just look at the ingredients of stuff, everybody. Please don't eat E numbers. Okay, everybody, so I'm in the amazing woodlands at Boscastle now. I'm surrounded by these incredible trees. You know, you can tell it's an ancient woodland by the amazing ferns and these ancient looking trees. Got a beech, oak, we've got everything in this woodland. And I'm going to turn the camera around in a minute and show you the holy well of Madron. It's another, this is her well. You know, the story is that she's fled and docked at the shores here at Boscastle, and she set up her life, her hermitage here to help heal people, and she's related to, you know, connected to the Arthurian times, 5th, 6th century. So this is her sacred well. Good friends who's guardian of this place has shown me today, and we're going to explore other places around here. So I'll turn it around and show you this amazing well. So this is my friend Lucy. So her Instagram is 6of Earth, and she's got some amazing content, some amazing work that she's doing. And this is, well, she's an energetic guardian of this spring here, so it's amazing that she's brought me to these incredible woods I probably wouldn't have found without her. So yeah, I'm blessed to be here today. So yeah, look at her work. Okay, so Lucy has brought me to see St Cleather's Chapel and Holy Wells. So this, honestly, I've never seen anything like this, where the well is just literally running through the chapel itself and then heading down into the stream. So behind me is the well house and chapel, and I'm going to take you on a little bit of a tour around the place. So the first one we get to is actually the last one the spring runs into before it goes underneath the ground and heads to the stream up there, down there, sorry. So this is the one where you can actually have an access point to fill up. So I'm going to fill up from here after. So this is the water. Amazing, clear, sacred water. And like, look at the rock. I just find it incredible how these structures are built to honour the water. Like, it's my dream to build something like this at St Mary's when I find it in Pemberton. It needs to be done. So coming round the back, this is like the original source well house, I think this is. So this is a separate well house to the chapel. So as you can see here, this is like people have left offerings here, and you can hear it's just flowing through here, and it flows underneath the rock into the well house behind me. And now we're going to go into the main chapel itself. So we are inside the chapel right now, and what a place this is. I've never seen anything like it, where, as you can see down here, I'm going to show you now, the water is actually flowing through the chapel. And then outside you can hear it's then flowing through this door. Can you open this? Yes, you can, you see? And there is where we were before, where you can access it. And there's outside. So this is St Cleather's Holy Well and Chapel. So in the ancient world, each well and spring would have a guardian maiden, or a guardian of the spring. And these were very in tune with the other world and the waters. And when the controllers started destroying these practices and they slowly phased out, they weren't honoured anymore. And this is what's happened with the destruction of our world, is because we've ended up neglecting the spiritual function of water, and we're slowly coming back to that now. And it's time to bring back these practices when it comes to, being so in tune with the springs and waters, and rebuilding the ancient wells, looking after places like this that we've still got, and honouring them. And yeah, it's just a very powerful time to be alive when it comes to water, and the way it's guiding each and every one of us, flowing into our lives, and flowing and giving us wisdom, sharing us wisdom, what we have to do to the earth for it to fall back into balance, and bringing in that balance between the feminine and the masculine, the fire and the water, the magnetism and the diamagnetism. It's a very powerful time. And here in Cornwall, my journey around the sacred wells has been so powerful, because it's allowed me to see so much more when it comes to the springs and the wells, and how important they are, how it can be once they are honoured and revered once more, and what we need to do in the rest of the land of Albion, of England and the United Kingdom, and throughout the world, if we're going to truly bring back the old ways and unite them with the new. So it's all about bringing and honouring the old ways, and then bringing them to the new, into the new world, and to this present moment for the next generations, for ourselves, and kind of honouring all the ones that came before us that have been they've been shunned, they've been persecuted, they've been executed, they've been hunted, there's so much horrible wrongs has happened to all of these people in the past that were practicing these old ways for the good as well, with a pure heart. And this is what we need to acknowledge, because by bringing that back, their work was not in vain, and they have communicated with us what they wanted to, so their practices can then come back into our present moment, and then we can start living from a different place once more, from a place of true humanity, as when it comes to at one with nature, at one with the waters, rather than the destruction, the purposeful manipulation, the stupidity of humans not neglecting the waters and neglecting nature. We need to once again be building things like this to honour the waters, and the waters within us. We need to acknowledge that they're not separate. The waters that's flowing outside end up in our bodies, and the waters that we expel end up in the water supply outside. Everything's connected. We are literally water, more water than a human. Human is water. So we change the molecular structure by being with the water. We commune with the water. We can speak, we can sing, we can pay offerings. It influences the collective consciousness in the entire world once we acknowledge that water is a living being. In fact, it's the most alive being is water. The most alive force. It's great spirit. It lives in everything, but it's very prevalent in water. So acknowledge the waters in yourself, acknowledge the waters outside, underneath the earth, the underground rivers, like I've talked about St. Nectans, and the waters above. Because this time now is the age of Albion, and I want to thank you for watching my Cornwall trip, and this is the last part now. I'm going to head on the road to Devon tomorrow. I'm going to be leaving Cornwall, so I want to thank you so much for watching my trip, and hopefully you've learned something and experienced what true Cornwall is and the true old world was, and what can be once we acknowledge that and put the work in. So thank you everybody. Have a great day or night wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for watching.